Is precisely what he means to.
But some wizards, no, just kidding. We got to wait 30 seconds a minute. So yeah,
Let's say a minute for safety's sake.
Yeah, okay. We'll just stare into each other's eyes for a minute,
Everyone
pretending
that's
that we weren't
watching
just
today,
talking about.
please know that we're thinking about all the curse words we can say, but we have to wait.
You sound
Just think
extra
about
echoey
skating.
today, EG. Are you on the right microphone? Just out of curiosity.
And hills.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I could hear you move it. I guess it was just far away or some such.
It was far away.
Yeah.
All these things that we would do in the pre-show if you had showed up for the pre-show. So 10 seconds
more than like 53 seconds early.
We need to kill a minute. This is good.
I had to fix my my camera because it wouldn't work in any way, shape, or form. And then after unplugging things and checking wires and shit, it was because it had went to the wrong camera.
Nice.
So that's why it wasn't working.
I was waiting. I was like, "Did you have the cover down?" I mean,
No.
Yeah.
No, there was an actual error message, and the camera didn't light up. I was like, "But it's like we can't connect to the camera." I was like, "Oh shit, it must be," but nope.
Gotcha.
That was because it went to the wrong one. So yeah, we're a minute in. Welcome to the fucking Dresden Files podcast.
Woo!
No, the fucking Dresden Files podcast is something else entirely, and
we don't talk about our OnlyFans account.
That's the while we weren't recording podcast.
Now, if we want to get a really old meme for you people along the same lines, I'll put on my robe and wizard hat.
Oh, dude! Did you go to that site, Justin? Like there was like a site. I don't remember the URL, but there was a site with compilations of all these funny IRC cutouts. Like
yeah.
I
want to say I saw it through like Something Awful or something along those lines. So. But yeah,
this was like a site dedicated specifically to that, and there were some really funny ones there. I remember it very fondly.
Something popped up in my feed the other day. It was the gazebo one, which I haven't seen in a long time.
I tell every D&D group that joke, especially like we're talking the D&D gazebo, right? The dread gazebo.
Yeah.
Especially because I have used that on a group. So I'm like, before I tell you my story, I have to tell you the original. And yeah, like I love that one because
I told you the story to tell you this story.
Yeah, I mean, I always start out by asking because it's like we're all D&D nerds and we get into obscure things sometimes too. But yeah, like there's always 1 to 3 people that have never heard that story. But
I just need to know. So do you know what a gazebo is?
Yeah. But if you don't know what D&D and gazebo, how those coincide, it's its own thing.
Well, apparently it's because the guy didn't know what a gazebo was in the first place. So.
Right.
Which is vital information for your everyday gaming life.
The dread gazebo. So yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to. I want to keep the conversation we were doing, but it's fine.
While we weren't recording the conversation, literally.
I won't get to talk about it next week or next month, even at this rate. But we'll get there.
So you can give me the cliff notes because I wasn't here.
Maybe I'll I got the audiobook finally. I can listen to the audiobook to buy
time. Oh, that's what you were talking about. You were okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, because I saw you were quite apparently happy with this book so far.
Yeah, it's
out of 10. How happy were you with the book?
I'm gonna say 9 out of 10.
Strong
because
9.
Yeah. I didn't like the ending for obvious reasons, but that's
because you gotta wait 3 years
because it ended.
Exactly. Yeah. and I was telling the director, like I didn't like Raoul early in the book, and some of his shenanigans I felt like were overplayed, so
I have felt that way about these books at various points. Like the first time reading the first book, it was just like I think that these cats are like too much. I get that they're gimmicky, I get that they're funny, but like holy shit, do they need to tone it down? And then I just kind of got used to it. So I'm guessing the same thing will happen with this one. And now he's not upset
it's
to
been
be
how many years
superior. He's upset
books?
just to be upset.
What do you mean? There's this little rascal getting in on his turf.
Wait, so you're saying he's more like me now?
He's grumpy. He's kind of grumpy.
He's losing his temper. And he's losing fights.
I mean, I still peak Raoul scene is still in book 1 after when he's got a cast on and he wants to throw himself off the boat. That was peak drama Raoul, and I was there for it. Like that whole scene. Best drama.
Sure. Yeah,
that was fun.
That's fair, but yeah. So anyway, that's why I had to come in at a 9, because I've been reading a lot lately, like a lot. I'll have an audiobook, digital book, and physical, and it's been Aeronauts. I mean, we've even read Jim's stuff in the last couple months, right? We've been reading Codex, and this is the best book I've read, in the last 365 days at a minimum. So it's probably better than a bunch of Dresden books, in my opinion. So, I just really enjoyed it.
I
know there's plenty of Clunker Dresden books. Come on, we know this.
Yeah, Dresden is better overall because, we're 16 books in and, there's great stuff and whatever. But I'm just surprisingly pleased with how well it all comes together. And I was concerned that it's like, hey, it's been 6 years and it's not going to feel the same and all of this other stuff. I didn't have any of those problems. I don't know if I just wasn't being especially critical, but that's why I had to dip down to a 9 though, is because I do have some complaints, but not very many. So,
all right, 9 with a margin of error, which therefore could include 10.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's possible that I was mistaken. It's possible that the French judge needs to recount, but another very old meme, I guess.
Justine.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've already. That
was a good 7 minutes.
This is all of our This is all of our non-Dresden time. Okay, so we're gonna have to be on topic.
No more tangents.
The episode.
I don't know why you even bother saying that, because that just guarantees them.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's the point. So, we're starting back at chapter 11. Rudolph is being a dick.
Can I quickly interrupt?
Nope.
Okay.
We already drew the line.
But I spent a lot of money for this meme.
Uh-oh.
Did you buy an NFT?
Memes, right?
Ugh.
Oh no!
God damn it!
How do you have to watch the video to understand?
How do I delete somebody else's video? Yeah. Okay.
Gentle audio listeners, do not watch the video of this one. He's just got his salad pizza for no reason.
I know there was green on that pizza.
That was like iceberg lettuce. Don't do that to pizza.
I don't even like green peppers on pizza. Like, what are we doing here? Bell peppers, anything? Like
that's all. That's all I wanted. I will let you continue.
Yeah.
All
right.
Thanks.
Rudolph is being a dick, which is something Andreas has in common right now. So,
come on, you're gonna compare me to him because I have a salad pizza. That's rough.
Yes.
It's not like you've killed a main cast member, but it's pretty close. Like
if we were there and he tried to feed us that, he would have killed more than just one.
Let's see. Is this the part where they're picking him up to go to
Mickey Malone?
Mickey Malone's. I was like, it's an M. It's not Marcone. It's one sounds really like it. But yeah,
did we actually get through Grave Peril today?
No chance. Let's see. We're on my copy because it's a PDF. Not that I said that out loud on the air. We're on page 89 out of 369. We're in trouble.
You just converted it to PDF. It's fine.
Yes. Yeah. I found them on the street somewhere. But yeah, so like this whole chapter is Rudolph being a dick, Dresden thwarting authority, John Stallings trying to talk him into coming. It's just like, didn't the last time I see you, we saved your life? Why are you being an asshole? And then they're like, well, Karen wanted you. And, of course, Rudolph being like, the sergeant wanted you, so you're going. And Stallings being like, please. And then they go to Mickey Malone's house. So,
as you do.
And then very importantly, this is one of the times we deal with a threshold. So he has to have them go get Mrs. Malone to bring him into the house.
Yes, because it's not just he could walk through the threshold, but he needs to be able to have his magic with him, and therefore he needs it to be he needs to be invited and needs to be of the household that invites him to cross the threshold. It can't just be one of the other cop buddies there.
Right. Yeah. Rudolph accuses him of being Count Dracula.
Yeah, it's a good thing he doesn't dress like a vampire or anything either.
Right.
That does happen
Stallings
in
is
the book, though.
around to ask questions so that Jim can tell us more about how it works. Let's see. They talk about why he didn't have the same problem at Victor's place. So, expose could be, if we did, like, if we focused on Mickey Malone as an episode or like a half episode or something, this would probably be worth including because,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to pay dividends, through the series and stuff.
Absolutely.
But like,
because this is when we see Karen for the first time with his sight.
That's true. She doesn't get knocked out here, right? She gets attacked at the precinct, but yeah, so
We
there's
see her pre and post actually in this book, I believe, and this is the pre.
Well, yeah, this is the one where she's like
An angel,
all
essentially.
whole and whatever, and I think the next time he
Yeah.
sees her, she's got all the wounds and
Which-
through his sight.
that didn't happen until Blood Rights, I thought. So
Yeah, I don't
because
think
he
so.
uses his sight, for Mavra and sees Kincaid and Murphy, and
Yeah.
she comes in like an avenging angel.
Yeah, and I think it's
Don't we
partly
also-
as a result of what happens in this book is the reason that she changes is because of the psychic assault.
It's a good reason. I don't know I had ever had anything in mind, but yeah. So let's see. Bums are going missing, so probably an important line to drop because vampires are collecting food,
Mhm.
No, it's just bum fights.
right.
The vampires might be doing that as well.
They probably are. This would have been around that time of YouTube, I think.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, so Dresden has several large paragraphs of internal dialogue about the vampire party coming up and stuff. So he got the point as well. Then they
And
talk
I would say
about the
visually, because
Inquisition.
that's all internal. It'd be something like bums are going missing, and Justin goes, and someone's like, okay, what does it mean? Come on. And then
No.
just like, you can't do it.
We're
too
only
much,
we're getting Geralt. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Geralt as Dresden,
And
and all
fuck.
he's gonna say is "Yep." And depending on the scene, changes the order. When Murphy is there, it's and fuck, and then sometimes it's fucking
Listen,
and
I'm just saying, if you had given me control of the budget, or we would have already had Henry Cavill. So
right, yeah.
that's what I'm
Just
saying.
while we're dreaming, I could think of a lot of worse people to play Dresden. So
I still think
For
he
all
should
we
be
know,
Thomas.
sure. For all we know, he's a super
No,
fan,
he's-
and
because we can't have bad things happen to him if he's Thomas. He needs to be somebody just like really, really good all the time.
well, like, okay, so he's Thomas, fine. You win. He's Thomas. Who's Dresden? Who the hell could you possibly cast opposite to him to steal the limelight from Henry friggin' Cavill as Thomas? Because every time he shows up on the scene, you're watching
Yeah.
Henry Cavill now.
Yeah. I
Like,
think that is kind of the point of
that's the
Thomas, though.
problem.
But isn't that how it is in the books as well?
He's okay to be prettier and whatever, right? But you're not
But
supposed to be
the white
like,
court type of magnetism that happens, like, that is kind of the point.
all right, that's it. We can't make the show anymore because every time a white court vampire shows up, you're
I
just
mean,
supposed
like,
to
of
stop
course,
listening to
For
Harry
Laura
Dresden.
Wraith, you have to cast someone like Ava Green because everyone is going to be looking at her and nothing else, which is exactly what happens in the books.
Right, right.
It's true.
If you guys weren't paying attention, you might have learned something about the director just now. So I'm just saying, but
That she's got the hots for Eva Green and
Who
Henry
doesn't?
Cavill, because I would perfectly accept both of those things.
yeah.
Either of those is acceptable to have the hots for in any particular gender you want to go with. So they're very pretty people.
Yep. Just pulling up
Right.
some research for later. So
Some
Eva
Henry
Green.
Cavill pictures.
yes. Yeah. Henry Cavill. So all right, let's see. Okay, so they go back and forth, and then finally they get Mrs. Malone there. Let's see. There's just a lot of description in this chapter, so it's just like, and then she starts to like lose her composure and her lips begin to tremble. They go into a back room. He was up late last night. Sometimes he can't sleep. She's giving more expose.
Were there torn up rose bushes outside their house too?
There might have been. I'm trying to
like
skim because I haven't done my reading, but
right. At some point there was a stray cat that they found mutilated.
Right.
And that might have been in this area.
Yeah. 2 full chapters of describing Murphy like it's the first time we've seen her.
Is the first time we've seen her with this site.
Well, yeah, but I don't think we've gotten to there yet. That's what I'm saying. It's like this chapter is just like expose and description and stuff, which is great, but it's not great for podcasting, especially for our audio only fans. So at least the ones that are watching us are seeing my look of consternation and everything.
I was going to say, in the meantime, Andreas, can you please say hello to our fellow European in the chat, because you're our delegation for that.
He's probably too busy eating his salad pizza.
I was going to say,
listen, it's delicious. It's nutritious.
I don't think it's either of those things.
Just don't put salad on pizza. Have pizza and have salad separately.
Even if it's tasty, all I can think about how terrible the texture's got to be, which is also important. You know,
right?
so.
Because
it adds some freshness and crunch.
Yeah. What? How? It's cooked salad.
No.
That's a reason why I don't get lettuce on my burgers. Like
it gets put on afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. Which just goes back to why?
Can we stay on the
oven perfect. Why did you add salad to it? You're like, oh, this is a perfect pizza. Let's fuck it up now that it's fully cooked. So.
I like your plea to stay on topic as if you weren't the one who put it on screen to show us, knowing this would happen.
Yeah. All right.
I am an agent of chaos.
Yeah. All right. Murphy cries. Dresden tells her to go get coffee. What a chauvinist pig. Let's see. Dresden gets left alone with the madman. Tries to talk to him. We're on chapter 13 now. We just transitioned, by the way. So that was like one chapter of mouthing off to Rudolph back and forth, one chapter of getting in the house into the room, and now he's finally there. So let's see. Yeah, so he makes contact with him and feels the energy, but he has no idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but this is where the CGI budget needs to start being spent, because we need to be able to see all these things. Yeah, because like the way that he describes the thorns being wrapped around him, like we need to be able to see this.
That's the sight, though, right? You know, so I'm saying like it's still like half of this page or more before he kicks on his sight, because it's like then he talks about the sight. So like that might be something we move into expose and just be like, Murphy's going to ask him like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I'm going to use my sight. It's a blessing and a curse. And you don't understand how much this costs me. And, then he's got to whip his hair out of his eyes because he's being emo. So,
Well, he's putting on his eyeliner as he does this, or is it already on?
It's already on. Come on. Like he did kind of get ambushed by the detectives, but in this case, he had time to print.
I was going to say, maybe it's 1-on-1, so he's got like a raccoon eye.
Is that a style that I'm not familiar with? I've already pushed the bounds of what I'm aware of.
I have no doubt it is, and I'm pretty sure.
Culture, so.
I'm pretty sure the Swedish man has done that once upon a time in his younger days.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, so I guess the good part is that this next bit will probably go really fast because it's all visual, but in the book it's description.
Right. But we're gonna like shorten the time of like it's gonna be all lights and fancy CGI something or other. It's gonna look all cool and we're gonna have fewer words.
Yeah.
What if? Yeah. I mean, I guess this is a visual medium, so the site would be very well used here, but if we're limited on budget, the site can take many forms, right? We could cheese it for budget.
Smells like torture in here, like what? So, yeah, I know.
It's a feeling he gets, or I don't know.
Yeah. He had been ravaged, torn apart. He was missing flesh everywhere. Something had attacked him and taken out sections of him in huge bites. I'd seen pictures of people who'd been attacked by sharks, had hunks of meat just taken, gone. That's what Mickey looked like. It wasn't visible to the flesh, but something had torn his mind and maybe his soul to bloody shreds. He bled and bled endlessly, never staining the sheets, and wound around him, starting at his throat and running down to one ankle was a strand of black wire, oversized barbs gouging into his flesh, the ends disappearing seamlessly into his skin, just like Agatha Hagglethorne. I had forgotten that she was inflicted too, so, you know. Now we got to go back and refilm that episode. Good work, everybody.
We're just doing the screenplay right now.
I know.
We're not even at the table read yet.
Right. Yeah.
Have you booked Cavill, by the way? Like,
yeah.
Is he available for the table read? Oh, yeah.
While we were memeing here, I actually went back in time to last week and I've talked to his agent. So yeah.
Right. Good.
Yeah. It's actually me from like book 18 when we do the time travel episode that's come back in time to book Harry Cavill. So
as long as we do it on the same set as Warhammer, he can just go back and forth.
He wouldn't even need to change for
necessarily,
changes, you know. So
it's possible.
Yeah. Get the big pauldrons, and we'll just put a cloak on him, and you know, who would know?
So he's just Kincaid in demon form the whole time. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying for changes for that one thing, you know. He could just film both the same day, and because no wardrobe changes or anything. He'd leave the bolter at the door, but yeah, okay. Let's see. Sorry. The first line of this paragraph is, what the hell could I do for that? You know, it's like, I don't know. I could shoot it with fire, I guess, because that's what he does, doesn't he? Or something. So, or is this, I'm trying to think.
I think he just grabs it and like tears it off him. Like he rips the barbed wire off him.
Yeah. This is the one he starts pulling. So, because he's an idiot. So, rule number 1 of wizarding is that if you don't know what it is, you don't fucking touch it. Okay. I tell every adventuring party this. If it's a button, you do not press it. If it's a doorknob, you check it for traps. Who starts pulling on barbed wire that is wrapped around another person, you psycho? So.
And of course, the removal of the barbed wire causes more damage itself.
Duh. Yeah. Like if it was something as simple as just a knife, you still wouldn't just start yanking on the damn thing to get it out of him. Like, give me a break. All right, more
and that's why you're not a wizard with a wizard business.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm a wizard, not a surgeon.
Yeah, right. Nice. Florida checking in. So, yeah. And then this is when like Harry probably makes a big fuss and then Murphy comes in. I mean, you guys are squeamish about the freaking budget for the site for Mickey Malone. Like, we just got to wrap barbed wire around the actor. Like, how hard is that? He'll just bleed and there's no special effects at all needed, right?
But I don't know Murphy who comes in, this you guys is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go.
Really? You're not going to wrap somebody in barbed wire if you had the chance? Like,
no, I'm saying I don't know who this squirmy about the budget is. I'm in charge of the budget.
Yeah, sure. So do we like hire an angel to like play Murphy during the scene, or do we just get her dressed up with one of those little
first of all, the easiest thing to do with Mickey Malone is we hire Mick Foley and wrap actual barbed wire around him, because that's just his natural state of existence anyway.
A little weird to have like, what's his name, Misha Castiel, and in her spirit form like that, having him come in.
Misha Collins,
yeah. It would be weird if he's got like a blonde wig and walked in on.
Still with the trench coat and the tie.
I was gonna say, I gotta be honest. If we hire Misha Collins to play Castiel to play Murphy in this entire show, I'm on board. I will like Murphy a lot.
I've heard of worse ideas. Like, this is like Terry Crews with the blonde wig and the motorcycle, right? You know, so yeah.
Or like the Wayans brothers in Whiteface and White Chicks.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
There are definitely worse
Yeah.
ideas out there.
Did not age well.
It wasn't aged at the time. It was terrible. What are you talking
No.
about?
No, that movie was self-aware of how bad it was,
Yeah.
which made it its own kind of entertaining, I guess.
But yeah, so if we can have Castiel playing Murphy, I'm on board. I'm down with this.
Sure. Yeah, so I got my events out of order. He does fuego it, but only after he like throws it out the window and then shoots it. So more budget. Like
Fuego.
our whole budget for the season's going into this one scene in this one episode. So
The rest of the season, we just got cardboard cutouts, backgrounds.
They're puppets like Team America.
when he goes to the masquerade, he doesn't even look out of character because all of the actors and actresses have those cheesy plastic teeth because we couldn't afford anything else for vampires. So yeah. I don't hate this suggestion, but I'd have to hear
right?
his
This is
Russian
like-
accent. So, like
That would be
could you be
entertaining.
Russian for like ever? Just like you're gonna have to hold that accent for a real long time. So let's see.
We just dub him over with an actual Russian, but it's actually Terry Crews the whole time.
Okay. This is getting more and more like 90s and then 80s, and we're actually going back. Like, we're not even going to be able to do a period piece because we're going to be like in the 1960s soon and just be like, we can't have like future cars. And anyway,
I believe the term is called homage, you hack fraud. We're doing this to honor whatever.
Yes, you got me. Let's see. Okay. Yep. She does call him a chauvinist pig, but not for the coffee moment, but because he'll help a lady in distress. So
it's 2024, Dresden, let her die.
yeah. Yeah. And then she's like, wait a minute. When you looked at me, you saw a thing, didn't you? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, all right. Let's see. Next chapter. He's talking to Michael.
Always good.
Yep. That means he didn't get murdered by Charity. Is this just all a phone call? Yeah, I think he just calls him. I don't know if he's back in his apartment or not, but
was this when Molly answered the phone and then Charity told her to get off? Or is that later?
Let me see. It doesn't look like it's happened just now, like unless she jumps in the middle of their conversation. So, but this is the don't yada yada the Lord, Harry. So that's got to get in there somehow.
Of course.
It's disrespectful. Okay. And then he gets immediately called back, and then it's Susan, and then she's slightly annoyed because he's a dick to her because he was just like not expecting a phone call, So then we go into the lab. Hooray.
That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah. I'm just like, their usual banter back and forth, like, wake up, sleepy bones. Oh, how original. And then, he asks him if he's awake yet.
So what you're saying is now we're going back to the 20s with the
right. Bob's
Bob
just
can
got
do
a
that.
floating cigar. So
listen, why not? In fact, he should just have a cigar in his mouth at all times, just because.
And then he's wearing the glasses with the fake nose, but we're not sure how it's staying on because he doesn't have freaking ears. Yeah.
Just like
or
we're
a
not
nose.
know how he can whistle without lips. Yep. This all works.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got the Groucho face and the cigar, and it's good. That could be one of the side episodes, like that takes place on Halloween. That's what he dressed up as, is Groucho Bob.
Yeah. He doesn't want to talk to him about the ghosts and the nightmares thing. So
Naturally.
Because this is a sign of Harry being an idiot, because he's like, have this very plot relevant conversation. No.
Right.
Star what now?
Exactly.
You're not supposed to know this till chapter 20. Go away.
Yep. Let's see. He badgers him into giving the information, apparently.
Mm.
And then, so it's one of those where it's like, so it's a chapter transition. So of course the conversation transition, we missed all of the technobabble to get only the other parts. So I guess that's a commercial break. I don't know.
But we're doing HBO with no commercials, right? Because about commercials.
I forget, is this
They
the part
still
where they're
kinda put
talking
them in.
about how it got supposedly past the threshold or whatever, and he's like, that shouldn't be possible? Or is that a later conversation with Bob?
No, that should be this one, shouldn't it? Because Harry had to cross the threshold, and it did too.
Right, and they're talking about the alarm wards that go off if the old ones
Yeah.
come back, and whistling up old gods and that kind of sort of the minor little breadcrumbs about the wider world.
Yeah, they're definitely
Those are
talking
important.
about. Yeah, they're definitely talking about thresholds again and getting more into the technical details about how a spirit creature can't cross a threshold and why.
Right. And I think this is like the first time the
Yeah.
gatekeeper's mentioned and all that.
Right. So what could do that, Bob? What are we dealing with here?
Turns out later, everything, if it's not malicious.
Yeah, everything
Yeah, well-
can cross a threshold if it's brave enough. So
At least, or
Are
is
you
it only Fae that can, if they don't have malicious intent?
Correct. As long as they're acting benevolently, they can just sort of slip in and out. Everything else, though, has an issue. And then there's smart people like Goodman Gray who don't even go into the yard,
yeah,
depending on the house you're at.
What
maybe
about
a
the
god
demon in
someone's
book
dug
one?
up Hecate, Callie, or one of the old ones.
Hecate.
Yeah,
He brought up Hecate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Callie. I think Tiamat was brought up, or that was later in a different thing. Whatever it was.
Yep. See, this guy gets it. He can advise us on advertising.
Didn't we say we were going to have commercials last time when we did the 90s version of this?
I mean, we've said a lot of things, so I
Yeah,
can't
we
be
have.
held responsible for all the shit that I've said.
That
So
never
You have
has
to-
responsibility, should we
that's-
say?
I'm sorry.
It's specifically in my contract that
You have the
cannot be held-
PDF. You have to be responsible
Yeah,
that you found on the street. Wink, wink.
right.
I mean, I can get that you want something to be possible for different types of syndication and ad breaks and all that. I just also dislike them. And I would prefer the
Right,
version that
sure.
doesn't have them. And every kind of streaming platform can have a non-ad version. So fuck it.
Hey, I mean,
Right.
we're not doing this on Netflix. That's too risky. But
Or Hulu.
or
Because
Hulu,
it'll
yeah.
get because Netflix will get like 90% done and then cancel it. Like, well,
Fuckers.
I
No,
saw that,
yeah, we'll get 3 seasons and then they'll cancel us.
I was
if
going
we're
to say
doing
the
well
only
enough.
way we could
Yeah.
do this on what would amount to cable TV is if it was on like FX, because they would give us the ability to.
in FX.
HBO's got a good
Disney
track
now.
record.
Or actually AMC would be
True.
okay too, because they're the ones that did Breaking Bad.
And
Yeah, and
Mad Men
Walking
and
Dead.
stuff like that. Yeah.
So
HBO, I think we're at HBO.
Obvious.
Yeah.
No,
I mean-
what we're at is we send people a little vending machine and they stick in $10 anytime they want to watch an episode, and that includes rewatches.
right.
And they'll pay because this is
I mean-
the best story ever told.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep. Mhm.
Mhm. And we can make vague references to. Never mind.
Should we have a whole episode of Bob doing his ride along with Mister? So we'll just have an episode from the point of view of a cat going to a strip club, because that's probably what happened.
Well, I assume at some point we're going to do like an Animatrix style of all the short stories. Do like 20
Well-
short stories and all the side
And one of
quests.
them is just Bob and Mr.
We'll put
going on.
we'll put all the side jobs and the briefcases out on the internet in between seasons, right? So that they could go watch that, and then we'll
Right.
have
Those
the
will all
5-minute
be all the animated stuff in the various mediums. We can do 3D and drawn and combinations, again, like the Animatrix was.
We'll
And
have
that'll
Bob's-
be to tide people over while they're waiting for the real stuff.
right. Yeah,
We can do like
Bob's
2 or
be
3
out
of those,
doing his ride along.
2 or 3 per season to stretch them out a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So, trigger warning because it triggered me anyway. But this boy is a detective, and the chapter starts out, finding people is hard. Like, that's your friggin' job, dude. Like, like, yes, but get a different
Well, he
job.
also cheats.
So,
Yeah, so he cheats and he still complains it's hard.
right.
I mean, that's what I would do, but still.
But
Yeah.
Mom, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like that?
Something. Yeah.
Who's he looking for at the moment?
Lydia. I was just
Oh.
trying to see if, because I know he doesn't find her. So
Right.
or does he find her before?
No,
Because
not
he
until the
deals
party.
with Kyle and Kelly, right? So
Yeah,
I was gonna say, if she's
okay.
already run away from St. Mary's at this point, I don't think we see her again until the party.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I thought. So I was like skipping to be like, is there anything worth saving in this chapter? You know,
Well, if he's going to go look for Lydia, and then this is when he gets jumped a bit by Kyle and Kelly, and he blows the roof off of something, and Kelly gets burned by sunlight, right?
yeah. So okay, yeah. So I think this is that warehouse. So Summers Textiles Manufacturing. And there's a brand new side panel van. Its engine still ticking, cooling off. So okay, I think she is there, but she's drugged. And he was using like a dowsing rod to track her.
She never did that again.
A blanket wrapped bundle approximately Lydia size lay inside the van. One pale hand lay limp outside of it. Since he followed her with the dowsing rod, I guess we're pretty sure it's her. But speaking of things we'd never hear or see again, I lifted my right hand, the silver ring there gleaming, and cried, "Asontius!" I don't remember
His first ring.
Yeah, I'm sure, but like,
Oh, but he just
do we ever
he
get
never-
his trigger words in like any other times? He just talks about triggering.
I was going to say, I don't even think he has to use words for the force rings going forward, which was kind of the point, is he could just kind of like do it.
Right. But he does here. That's what I'm saying. So,
well, because here
Yeah,
he's
he's
still, little stupid baby wizard, as opposed to later on when he's stupid toddler wizard, then stupid teenage wizard. I think by the end we might get stupid adult wizard.
Maybe.
Hopefully we're getting like stupid retiree wizard, so yeah.
No, he'll be stupid corpse wizard.
I mean, I guess if he's still stupid that old, then he's probably not going to make it that old, so. But.
Hey, listen, comedy of errors.
Yeah.
He's just going to be like Buster Keaton if Buster Keaton made it to 90. Which I actually don't know how long Buster Keaton lived, but I'm not.
Yeah, you immediately made me wonder.
Andreas, get on that since your ever-growing list of things is not getting done anyway.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is where he gets licked, and he finds out how much he likes it. Everybody has this experience once, hopefully. So. Let's see. This is one of like 1,100 times he gets straddled by a female vampire.
Not today. How long did he live?
Oh, he lived till he was 70, 1966.
There we go.
There you go.
He survived all of his crazy stunts.
Yeah.
Harry would be lucky to make it to 70, which is still only a third of a wizard lifespan, but still.
Right.
That's a third of his wizard lifespan if he's like really shitty at it.
Yep.
I mean,
well, yeah. How old?
I'm surprised that Ebenezer's lasted.
Ebenezer's, I mean, he was the
300-ish.
Essentially a kid punk during the French and Indian War, which was the 1750s. So,
yeah, just shy
in
of
his 20s or whatever it was. Then, yeah,
he was Harry in 1750.
Yeah, he might have been smarter than Harry
if he was in his 40s or whatever, and it was just young by wizard standards. But essentially, he's 300.
Right. Yeah. Within give or take. Yeah. I don't know. This scene is fine overall. Like, we can do the thing, talk about budget. We've got to collapse a building roof and all that stuff. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
with
glad they
everything
already
else going
signed
on.
at HBO.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Listen, we just
So-
need Christopher Nolan. He still likes to do practical effects.
He made
Might
money
have
on
one.
that cornfield, right? He knows how
You
to do
guys are
this.
missing the part where you have to buy a building that you can then collapse its roof. So
you-
I
no,
gotta
you
imagine
make
it's
it- you
still
make
not-
it-
You're missing the
small
part where it's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Still had to rent
Christopher
it. Still
does
gotta
like to
carry the insurance.
reuse explosions and stuff, which makes sense. So he might
Sure.
have a building we could use, like with video or something.
I was going to say, what's that part in Ultron, Age of Ultron? How quickly can we buy this building as we're already blowing it up?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are missing something where I was like, oh yeah, well, first we got to find a wizard that we can hire so he can adequately melt the steel beam. That's not what I said. What I said was we were collapsing a building. So
And what I said was, I don't know why you think we need to buy it. We just
what
need
I
to
said
collapse the building.
was what anyway.
I mean, I can see the press already now. It's like Dresden Files TV show accused of terrorism.
Oh geez. I mean,
Yeah,
I doubt it.
I mean,
You know,
they do say
blew
any
up-
publicity.
They blew up the Cyberdyne building for Terminator 2. They blew up Nakatomi Plaza. Like, come on. There's a long, illustrious history of people building floors on buildings and then blowing them up. So
As long as we have a clipboard and a hard hat, it really doesn't matter what we do.
That is how it works. You can just
Here
if
for
you
the
have a
building
clipboard
demolition.
and the hat, maybe a reflective vest, you can go anywhere. You can do anything.
They're going to say, no, you can't do that. And we're going to say, well, the fuse is already lit. You might want to start moving.
Okay, then he spends an entire
Animaniac stuff.
year drugged because he got licked. Yeah, it's definitely Lydia, so she must just be unconscious because he's
He
checking.
might
her
also
pulse
have been
and
licked.
everything. Well, yeah, I mean that too. So, yep.
I mean, you do it right, you can easily make someone unconscious.
Like Harry, he passes out here apparently. So,
To be fair, he doesn't have much, physical intimacy or contact. So one lick's enough for him. How many licks does it take to get to the center of Harry Dresden?
You really had to spell it out before Justin got it.
I was somewhere.
He's doing his PDF. Leave him alone.
Yeah. I was PDF, not PDA. You weirdos. So
Yeah, he was a few letters down the alphabet.
yeah. Oh, okay. He's having a flashback. So, do we include the
Are we
flashback?
allowed to do that?
Yeah, because
Shit,
they're
that's the second season in a
canon.
row we're gonna have a flashback.
So, right?
That's it. That settles it. We have to find one to do in Stormfront, and then we have to just keep this as a theme going forward. We can't just have two flashbacks, and then we're gonna have to have the flashback in Skin Game. It's just
White Knight has a very important flashback. So
The best flashback scene, actually.
unless we want to pull that out of time,
we
and
could
just
kind
start
of
the
make one
episode
out of changes when he's listening to his mom's gemstone and like have her doing her little thing through the facility as like a mini flashback.
We got to have her do the shoot. What's his
The
dad's
dress
name?
scene.
But no, I was thinking. No, guys, chill. You're not on my wavelength, so stop trying to help me. So because I had to go through Megamind to get to Space Dad to get to Superman's dad. So Dresden's mom is doing the whole thing through the crystal where it's like she just looks like she recorded it in the 70s, and that's why I was like, stop helping because you're just distracting me.
All I got it just now is we are CGI and Marlon Brando.
Yeah, right. Like, Mom, I'm your space mom. So
I like it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for attending this. Whatever this
Marlon
was.
Brando Lafay.
Yeah.
We'll just get his clips from like The Godfather, Streetcar, and Superman, and we'll somehow make the dialogue work.
Yeah.
I believe in
Okay.
us. Yes.
Because
Nice.
it is one of my favorites.
I mean, if
Well,
we're
I'm saying
gonna
that's part of the flashback. There's that and the whole thing with Odin.
if we're going to
Damn,
do
now you're probably
frame,
wondering how I got here.
Exactly. As soon as his head hits the side of the elevator, we bring it back. So exactly.
Oh, so that's
That
a
might
flashback
actually-
within a flashback because we're flashing back. It's getting conked, and it's like you're probably wondering how I got here. And then we do the whole beginning scene with Nicodemus, and then post scene with Kringle.
Right. Yep.
I like this actually. That is, if we're only gonna do that, you're probably wondering how I got here once. I think on the slap in the elevator, that is the best place. That is really a really good place.
Yeah.
Because if you know Harry and Mab and you just know that she's bitch slapping him for something, the dying question of like, what the fuck did he say to her to make her do that? It's just it's wonderful.
Okay. Yeah, this all kind of it becomes important because this is the one where he gets eaten and then Bob as Mr. saves him. So
oh, he's having the nightmare. Okay, so this the flashback to Kravos, he's having the nightmare, he's getting eaten, and then he goes running to his circle to like protect himself, and then he can't light a candle.
Yeah, let's see.
Noob.
Now he's shooting fire at him, so I don't know if the candle part happens earlier, but
no, it happens afterwards when he's trying to like recover and he tries to do the Flickenbickus and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I was still inside the circle. I still had the circle protecting me. I struggled to reach out for my power to summon a strike that would annihilate this thing, and found something in my way.
Because like first he gets licked, then he gets eaten. He's having a really interesting night considering.
Right. Yeah, not universally enjoyable though. I'm just saying. So
consent, everyone. It's important.
Interesting. He winds up back in his bedroom.
To that, but okay.
Yeah. No, see, I'm only half listening to you guys. You guys are not helping. So, and I'm just
we're not hurting either.
Straight ahead.
And if we are, I don't see it that way.
Am I supposed to be helping?
Yeah, this is not the while we weren't helping podcast.
Once upon a time, we had co-hosts. Now we've got somebody trying to do their job in the friggin' peanut gallery. So,
you know, I think that's actually fair. That's fair.
Andreas speaks for himself.
On that same page. So,
I, for one, do not agree.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, then Bob has to explain because Harry's an idiot. Something tried to eat you. So this is the part where we point out that Jim's teacher thought that he was very clever in a sarcastic way for having a literal talking head here to explain all the magic bits. So
she said, as have this character, but just don't make him a talking head. And he said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And he thought he was so clever until he watched the old Scooby-Doo opening. There's a talking skull in it.
Because there's a talking skull in
that.
Bob isn't exactly the first talking skull thing, right? You know, so like D&D's had, you know, Professor Orbs is what they've been calling them and stuff like that for a while. But yeah, his is probably the more prominent one, you know, for a lot of media. So. But it couldn't be the demon because Michael killed it with Amarachius. So important.
Or banished it, at least.
Nope. He said killed.
I was going to say.
Because Harry's an idiot.
Where they start getting into the whole, could he leave behind a ghost? And
right.
Is that and the other thing?
Yep. Yeah, no, you are technically correct, but Harry's an idiot. And he's the wizard here. So, you know. God, I've got to play a stupid wizard one of these times. That would totally throw my party for the loop.
Stupid characters are great.
I wound up playing Gandalf like twice in a row practically, where it was just like, you know, I had to start sharing notes. The characters were too similar, even though, you know, they had different idiosyncrasies and stuff. But yeah, it'll be funny. Be like, oh, Justin's playing a wizard again. This ought to be good. And then I'll be like, yeah, touch the button, touch every button. Why don't you lick the freaking, you know, oh, there's a pool of water in here. Why don't you just go? It's probably healing potions. Why don't you just go bottle it and start drinking it? So, Yeah, see, that came out sarcastic, so they'd know I didn't mean it, but I'd have to really sell it.
See,
You know?
you're just now you're playing the wizard who got their degree from University of Phoenix.
A correspondence course.
Right. I ordered the books through carrier pigeon. So
Did you
Wizard
read the
hooked on
books?
phonics, and that didn't work out so well.
Eat the books? Yes, they were quite delicious. Thank you. So
I said I needed more fiber in my diet and that I needed to absorb the magic, so I ate the textbooks.
right.
Is he going to be able to open doorknobs?
Yes.
I've done a Master Ferris, so I did a psionic character that was meant to be a lift and shift, and that was not the party for that because I was one of the few people role playing, and everybody else was trying to be eaten by vampires. So yeah. Favorably, we wound up going to not Vlad. What's his name? My brain, because I've got the wrong names in here. Curse of Strahd. Strahd's the place. So, and that's important because you get to, I think Barovia is the name of his country, by walking through the mists. And that's the connection that I was going for. So anyway. Now he's talking to Murphy again for some reason. Oh no, because she's getting eaten. It was her turn, which is only fair. So yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because it ate him and now it's pretending to be Dresden and it went to go get Murphy. So
now he's running down to the precinct and say, "Hey, I just saw you 5 seconds ago. What happened?"
Right. Yep. And because this is relevant, I ran up the stairs taking my blasting rod with me with my Scooby-Doo lunchbox in my right hand. So
the Scooby-Doo lunchbox that better have the skull on it, just because.
I believe so. Let's see. Salt, a wooden spoon, a table knife, a couple of storm candles and matches, and a coffee cup. I stuffed them all into an old Scooby-Doo lunchbox.
This is the precursor to the toolbox he has later with Molly. With all the magical doodads.
Well, valise, right? He gets like a full-on, like,
Oh, right. Yeah, like a doctor's valise bag.
Okay, that was at the thing where I was like, she was tired of him using a Walmart bag or whatever it was.
Right. Okay. And then we've got to talk to the nightmare in the old-timey language. So
always fun.
So he's got his spells. Then Rudolph shows up. And Stallings is there. I don't know.
And this is when Rudolph is still, as much as he's a dick, he's still kind of a good guy because he's suspicious of Harry, but also something's clearly wrong with Karen.
Right. And Dresden asks Stallings for the evidence from the Kravos case. You need what?
A life.
Yeah.
Right.
They take chain of evidence very seriously.
No.
I mean, even if he did, it wouldn't last very long because that kind of thing goes out the window very quickly in this world. I mean, they like to pretend, Murphy's all about her, my cop, blah, blah, blah. But, it's selective.
Do we have a place we can fit in the whole? Yeah, probably, huh? It's proven guilty. So we'll throw in the whole, like, you're a rogue cop who doesn't deserve to wear the badge. So, when she gets fired.
Mm.
So, yes.
Since we're doing the 80s. So
except in this case is demoted. Demoted. She doesn't get fired. She gets demoted.
Oh, yeah.
She gets fired and changes or whatever it is.
True. For pretty much the same reason, right? Both times she goes into the never and isn't where she was supposed to be.
Well, no, in changes it was Rudolph was doing the whole IA thing anyway, and that was just kind of happening.
Right.
And then, well, no, actually, was she fired technically then? Or was it?
They might have
I can't
forced her
remember if in
retirement.
Ghost Story it was like the half pension thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Because in Ghost Story, she does the whole haircut and broody, and I think she's retired by then.
Well, she's not working as a cop because she's just working out of the BFG.
Right. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes.
She's with Marcone now, but not really.
Yep. Yeah, so finishing out this chapter, so he puts Murphy to sleep. He gets, actual rage and a bunch of other stuff, a bunch of internal dialogue. But then, Rudolph's expression was serious, earnest. He'd never much liked me anyway. I mean it, Dresden. If you let Murphy get hurt, I'll kill you. Kid, if anything happens to Murphy because of me, I think I'll let you, so
Right.
kind of important.
And then
then Rudolph,
friends again.
And Rudolph sure does change character.
Right?
Yeah.
And
10 years later.
Yeah, if it turns out he gets infected, I'm going to be upset.
It does seem like, not that he's infected, I think Jim is just saying that he's just normal human stupidity and danger. He's being manipulated by like vampires and other people, but I don't think he's infected.
He is, and I think that you could go the whole blackmail route and all that other stuff because it's a very stark change without us seeing why that he would be that protective of Murphy to then trying to get her, unless it's somehow recontextualized into he really thought he was somehow getting her out of trouble by getting her in trouble, but then it's like then he shoots her. I mean,
I think he got a lot of money and some blackmail, and it was just so very convenient for his opinions to change. And then he got that big nice house that Dresden destroyed and changes.
Everybody take a hit of your favorite mind-altering substance for just a moment, okay?
Oh, no.
We get... Yeah, geez, Andreas. Really went
I had it ready.
Yeah.
It's actually just the second slice of pizza that he didn't show us.
Do we get a short story or part of the book that covers what happened with Rudolph to see it? But even the really powerful thing that I was like, oh man, I'm just going to say this out loud so that I can say I told you so if it happens later. What if it has a lot to do with the time travel episode? Like, what if, like, not just Harry going back and fixing Harry's stuff along the way, he's able to get there to save people like Rudolph or something like that and more or less redeem him. I mean, obviously that would be catastrophic from what we understand how it works even in the
Murphy's
book.
alive again.
Yes. I am aware. That's why I said, look, I'm going to be crazy for a second. Somebody change your minds. But that was where I got lost for a minute. So
if Harry goes back in time, he has to keep things in the way that they are, which means that he's going to be told, don't change anything. Don't do anything that's going to change anything unless you were supposed to do it. And therefore, thank God, don't do it or something like that. Like, he has to fix Little Chicago so he doesn't blow his own brains out.
But you said that to Harry Dresden, so
exactly. Yeah, so it's going to be like that's the one thing he's going to break the rule about, which is like, I hate that you're probably right. Fuck.
I don't think that I am. I'm just hedging. But like I said, in order to win the money, you got to put the money on black, right? So I'm putting it out here. It's a roulette reference right now, but anyway. So I'm calling the bet right now, and maybe I lose. I'm probably gonna lose, but in like 5 years, when I'm right, we can all come back to this episode. Because so like what else is the fucking point? I think that's where I'm stuck.
To get him to where he needs to go. This is like he's
Rudolph?
already done the things. So like because he's experienced those things happening, he like
the next sword, like what? Like that's what I'm saying. What's the point? He
has to do the time travel and all of the things in it so that he can make sure that he gets to the end where he needs to be, or he's already been working for it. He just needs to make sure that he continues to get to the end of the BAT and everything. If he violates time in fate in that way of keeping Murphy alive, he's also going to change her position. Because the way that it's set up, she's now going to be a Valkyrie or Einherjar or something like that. Like, is he going to take that away from her?
Right.
And he might make the wrong decision, or he might have to be talked out of it by someone like Batarang.
Maybe. I'm just saying, what's the point in having free will if one does not occasionally spit in the eye of destiny? That's all.
You do kind of have to take all of the considerations, though, of like,
Harry, take all the considerations. Let's be reasonable here.
He's a stupid teenage wizard now. He's not just a stupid toddler.
Yeah, he's a stupid old man wizard now. Like,
I was gonna say, if he was a stupid toddler
into his
wizard, then he
40s.
would at least be able to be like, "Oops, I broke this," as opposed to a stupid teen wizard who's like, "No, I'm doing the right thing."
Right.
And then he's gonna get hit in the head by Molly, who was actually a stupid teen wizard, and like, do you not understand what the lessons you taught me were?
Selectively,
She don't care anymore. Yeah. Molly's going to be there to be like, hey, just because you would have told me this is very dangerous and not supposed to be what you were doing. Like, she's a fae. She's not going to be like, don't you remember all the things you told me? Yeah. All right. Well, we made it to chapter 20 through focus, determination, and sheer fucking will. So
I don't think we had any of those things. I don't know what episode you were a part of.
Yeah. Page 155. So I'll note that down this time.
Despite Andreas's best efforts to derail us.
I am an agent of chaos.
Yes.
An agent of salad on pizza.
You're an agent of the EU. That's not the same thing as chaos.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, if you put salad on pizza, is that lawful evil or chaotic evil? I guess it could be neutral evil because you're just being evil to everybody but you. But, I'm feeling it's chaotic, though, for sure. So agent of chaos. So because it's funny is a good enough reason. So.
Yep.
I accept this logic.
Yeah.
And I vote that we ban him the next time he shows that pizza.
Right. All right. So next time we're on chapter 9 of the just kidding. Last time I think we started.
Kick him immediately. It's a war crime. It's against
You've got a whole box of that pizza.
Thank you. Good. Get him out of here.
How do you have a whole box of that pizza? Who would deliver that?
Other people who think that's a fine thing to eat.
It's the most sold pizza here.
Of course it is, because you guys are on the border of Russia. You have to eat rocks. So this is probably the next best thing to you.
Okay, so Aeronauts Winless, part 57. This has been the Dresden Files podcast. Give us money so that Andreas can afford real pizza.
Yeah, what do we got? We got Patreon, OnlyFans. I think that's it. That's all we got, right?
How much to do pinup shots, Justin?
I was going to say, should we put that as a Patreon tier? I'm just kidding, because that's going to get terrible fast. So, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'll throw one.
We could do a calendar spread. That's 3 months a piece, for the 4 of us. That covers 12 months.
I'll throw on a skimpy bikini.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear people are into dead bods, so I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, but are they into Michelin Man bots?
Someone is.
That's the real question.
Where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah. Somebody else, please push the button. Yeah.
No, we have to.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week.
How about you pay us for that this calendar doesn't happen? Otherwise, I'll figure out ways to get into people's
yeah, that's not how that's going to work.
The director's versions are going to be wearing 17 layers of clothing, and the rest of us are not.